You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Days of Our Lives fans, I've got your early weekly spoilers for April 14th through the 18th. Sammy's going to crawl in bed with somebody surprising. Rex is making an accusation, and Gabi is really, really mad. It's Melinda from Soap Dirt. If you're not following us, please reach down and click that subscribe button. And as we always do on Early Edition Day, we're going to start out talking about what happens the rest of this week. On Wednesday, April 9th, Belle Black is up at University Hospital, sitting at the bedside of her gunshot honey, and she confesses her feelings to comatose EJ. Belle actually says that she loves him, but guess who's lurking nearby and overhears this love confession? Xander and Phillip make a big corporate takeover play. They are ready to make their move to do the hostile takeover on DiMera. They've got Li Shin working with them. With EJ on what may be his deathbed and Kristen always unhinged, Xander and Phillip feel like the time is right. They are going to head over to the Gabi Chic office and start a little thing with Gabi that's going to get really, really angry. And at the office, Gabi is looking at the news story about EJ's shooting, and she thinks back to the events of that night. If you remember, JJ said this week that he went looking for her and Gabi wasn't at home. She was not at the office. He called there, so he knows that she has no alibi, and JJ already is low-key looking at her as a potential suspect. Melinda stops by the offices to chat with Gabi, and Melinda also meets with Kristen and has some questions, and that is probably down at the Salem Police Department because Melinda has a really busy Wednesday, and we do know she's down at the cop shop and she's chatting up Sean and JJ, likely about her client Kristen and the gun that JJ found in her purse. Thursday, April 10th, we are back over at Gabi Chic, and we're going to see Xander and Phillip bossing Gabi around, and you can bet she's not going to like that one bit. While they're doing that, Alex is with Sarah complaining about keeping the dirty fraud secret. Meanwhile, Rex shows up knocking at Kate's door. His arm is in a sling, but he's okay otherwise, and tells his mom, "Don't worry about me, I'm fine." Chad offers some advice to Johnny, and that could be why the young man heads over to see his dad, EJ, at the hospital. Meanwhile, Sami struts into the room and lets Belle know that she overheard her saying that she loves him to EJ. And then Sami is going to completely dismiss those feelings and tell her little sister Belle that EJ was only tangling with her as a way to get to Sami. That is going to burn a little bit. And big sister Sami is going to stick around to check on EJ, and we'll have a very intense chat with Johnny in his dad's room at the hospital this week. On Friday, April 11th, we've got Xander and Sarah out for a romantic evening at the bistro, but guilt is ruining things for her because she is struggling to keep this horrible secret for Xander. Sarah keeps trying to confess and then just kind of making up stuff to confess to when she can't work up the nerve. And also on Friday, Vivian Alamain is out of Statesville prison. If you remember, Kate ratted her out to the cops for her parole violation, and they locked her up, but not for too terribly long. Looks like she is back out on parole. She shows up at the Kiriakis mansion, and Phillip is really hoping that Vivian is just stopping by on her way out of town to say bye-bye. But nope, she stuns Kate and Phillip when she demands her fair share of the big scam. And let's be fair, Vivian did dream it up and make it happen. And speaking of Kate, Rex is quite worried about his mom, and he talks to Roman about her, just as Phillip was worried that Kate might have shot EJ. It seems like Rex may share the same suspicions, and I mean, can you really blame them? And of course, Roman's gun is missing. Johnny took it, but the assumption may be that it's in Kate's hands. Chanel and Paulina talk, and it may be about the renewed chance that they have to adopt Tate and Sophia's baby now that EJ caught a bullet, but it may also be about Johnny refusing to see his dying daddy, and of course she may not know yet that he actually went over there. They may also likely be discussing about who shot EJ, because there are so many suspects. It might just be easier for the police to make a list of who didn't want to shoot EJ and just start from there. Sami and Johnny's talk at the hospital in EJ's room gets really tense. Sami does have some things to say about the whole way that the rape reveal came about and the fact that she has long since gotten over it. But for Johnny, it's very much a fresh wound. And it looks like Sami may be hitting her son with some tough love. The week of April 14th through the 18th, Vivian is going to be a huge problem for Kate and Phillip and Sarah if they don't shut her down and shut her up. Time is almost up on the forgery and fraud secret, but do Kate and Phillip and Sarah have enough in the piggy bank to pay Vivian off so she will just shut up and leave Salem? Holly is outraged with Tate, of course, and that is pushing him closer to Sophia, and he is actually outraged at Holly for letting Doug 3 sleep in her bedroom. Sami goes from making Belle feel bad to dealing with Johnny's hurt feelings to consoling Rafe, and very soon Sami and Rafe are going to go too far, cross lines, and hit the sheets together. And if Rafe and Jada were not done already, well, that's going to ice that cake and finish it soon. EJ's life remains on the line, but things are going to turn around soon. He is not going to die, and of course, that's going to upset half of Salem. If you were curious, Dan Feuerriegel is just fine. He is still shooting, which means 9 months from now, he's still on the air. Xander wants to take Sarah on a special trip, but she does not think she deserves it, and I tend to agree. Watch for JJ to start making arrests. Kristen is the first person questioned because of the handgun in her purse, but Gabi is soon in the Salem PD's crosshairs, and that spells trouble for her relationship with JJ. And what is on Rafe's secret camera footage? Well, I should call it a not so secret camera. That was the biggest hidden / barely hidden / not really hidden camera I've ever seen. That was insane. How would you miss something that big laying over a piece of sculpture on your table? It's nuts. Anyway, did he just get an angle of the victim, EJ, catching the bullet, or did he catch a little glimpse of the perp, maybe the gun, maybe a hand? We'll see.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.